Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome back to the Video Gamers Podcast. I'm your host, Ace, and today we're diving into wallet first into the world of crowdfunded games, from pixel passion to launch day disasters. Joining me today, I heard he's still waiting for his collector's edition of Mina the Hollower. It's Ryan.
My eyes! My eyes!
You punk! It's not that bad.
Yeah, whatever. Just hearing the name, they're starting to water.
You suck. And of course, we can't do this alone. So joining us is a man who always puts his money where his hype is. It's John.
That's not always true at all.
Oh, come on, John.
I rarely put my money where my hype is.
Don't you bet on the black horse here, you know?
No, I put my money where the surest return on investment is.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that,
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, sure gains over time.
Anyways, fellas, I'm pretty excited about this episode because we're going to be talking about Kickstarter. How familiar are both of you with Kickstarter in general?
I'm quite familiar with it. I've backed a couple of small projects, and some of my favorite pieces of media have come out. Like I don't know if have you guys seen Kung Fury by any chance? It's like a 30-minute long 90s spoofy martial arts movie, Kung Fury.
It sounds familiar. I feel like you've told me about it before.
Oh, Ace, we may need to end this episode here early so you can go watch this. It's the best 20-something minutes that has ever been put to film. And it was it might have been a GoFundMe or something, but I'm pretty sure it was Kickstarter.
It was one of the crowdfunded things.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so good. There is a part 2 that's sort of stuck in development hell right now, but I've talked to the director, David Sandberg, when I was doing some other projects a couple of times. It is awesome, and without Kickstarter, it wouldn't have happened.
That's fair. What about you, Ryan? How familiar are you with the thought of a Kickstarter, huh? Oh, wow. Yep, very interesting. Yeah.
Sounds like Ryan needs to kickstart a mute button for his microphone here.
Yeah,
Dang it, I did it! You know what? You know what it was? And for anybody watching, it's because I was trying to plan out how I was going to get a little snacky poo in during this episode because I'm dying here, but
That's a rookie mistake, man.
I know,
the
dude.
Podcaster's secret. If you need to eat while you are recording, you just stick it into your belly button.
There you go.
Whoa, all right. I didn't know that one.
I didn't know where that was going, but
maybe a little green.
Anyways, I have not messed around with Kickstarter, so that's a no.
You never even looked at it?
I know. I've never had any desire to go and look.
But you understand the concept.
Yeah, I understand the concept.
Where people
for
crowdfund
sure, yeah.
ideas and they become reality.
For sure. Yeah,
sometimes.
no, I think it's a really cool thing. Yeah, I just never kind of had a draw to go check it out.
That's fair. I think today I want to look at, we're going to look at one big Kickstarter success, one massive flop. And then I also want to take a look at some of the games I've personally Kickstarted so we can not only bring them forward, but I can show that I put my money where my mouth is when I talk about indie games.
Sweet.
All right.
Heck yeah.
I'm not some poser.
This guy doesn't even know indie games.
So let's explore a campaign worth backing. And I wish I had been older when this game came to Kickstarter, but you've heard me say this game's name several times before. We're going to look at Shovel Knight.
Ooh, yep.
Shovel Knight was a Kickstarter. And people couldn't believe that these days because of how much money it made and how much growth it's had over the years. But
well, right, like with Shovel Knight, this isn't just like a one-off that happened to be successful. I mean, it launched a whole franchise. Like it is a legit franchise at this point.
But it came from devs who had no name in the game. They had no value. They were just straight out of the block. They showed people what they had. They had a game that really fed to the nostalgia of people who really enjoyed Mega Man, people who enjoyed that DuckTales game, and apparently people who really enjoyed Legend of Zelda 2, I guess.
Yep. It was looks like it came out in 2014. I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So that is like a sweet spot. Timing means so much in the world, and that is just the right time to be able to use the internet and utilize that for the funding, and then hit a niche timeline perspective from people who played these older style games. And then they're kind of revamping it. So it is really cool that this all worked out just like ridiculously well for them.
I mean, it worked out to the point where they have like 3 other games, tons of DLC, and their character became an icon of the indie scene itself.
Yeah.
Shovel Knight was the first indie character to appear in Super Smash Brothers.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, as a trophy. He's one of the assist trophies you can spawn in to help you fight.
Oh, okay.
Very
That's
first
neat.
indie character to appear in Smash, which is crazy.
That's wild. Yeah, that's a big game.
Yeah, and
They
when you're saying iconic, I mean that's like not just a metaphor. I mean, like people buy merch with Shovel Knight.
People
on
buy
it,
merch with
exactly.
him. People pay for him to cameo in their games. Like, it's big. Shovel Knight fought Kratos. He fought the Battletoads.
Battletoads.
Battletoads. I
love
missed the Battletoads.
I knew that one would get you too.
Yeah.
I just knew you two had played Battletoads.
Battletoads
Stop
versus
World.
Double Dragon. Yeah.
They launched a campaign March 2013, only asking for $75,000.
Wow.
They brought forth, everything they could to show at that time, and everything they had. That was it. They had a playable demo, they had a preview, and they had some art and music to look at. And that was enough.
How big was the dev team on that one?
I believe it was just 2 people at that time.
Really? Oh, wow.
2 people from way
Bravo.
forward. They were the main 2. They were the main 2 minds on this. They ended up raising $311,000 for Shovel Knight. They unlocked stretch goal after stretch goal. That's how we ended up with DLCs for Shovel Knight that went later into the years of the main game's launch and ended up being free for anyone who had not only backed the game but purchased the base game. So,
Oh, okay. That's
and every time a new DLC came out, they added $5 to the game, which fair, I guess.
and so now when like they do something like this, and then they've released the game that's been funded and everything, does that typically stop, or do you can keep your Kickstarter up and people can keep funding extra?
Oh, Kickstarters are limited time. So
Okay.
like once that deadline hits, that's kind of like the cutoff. You've hit your deadline. That's it.
Okay.
You could, I think you can open it up for more donations at least once, but I don't know if that feature was implemented yet this early on.
Okay.
But the game's Kickstarter launched in 2013. The game delivered in 2014. So
A year
they
later?
released a year later.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
it. That's all it took.
Unheard of.
Unheard
Indeed.
of these
Yep.
days.
Yep. Small and nimble. Indeed.
But it was polished, it was fun, and it was everything they promised. Since then, it's sold millions of copies, spawned tons of DLC and spin-offs. He's appeared in every, other indie game there is. And of course, we get the spin-off of Mina the Hollower, which raised over $1 million in Kickstarter.
Crazy.
I don't know what they spent it on, but it's never gonna go away, Ace. I'm sorry.
I know I'm never getting away from that one, and neither is Yacht Club Games, I guess. So
Rightfully so.
They're going down with me, at least. I'll say that.
There you go.
So what do you think? Why do you think their Kickstarter was successful? Since they had no poll, no like big name,
A good
behind
game.
them.
It's really tough, Ace, because I've seen lots of really cool novel projects that just have sunk for reasons I can't ascertain. There is just something about fame in general where something hits and resonates in the zeitgeist that's really, really hard to put your finger on, man. I mean, like, talent doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it. Graphics doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it. I mean, it's almost a cliche how many amazing, talented musicians there are out there that will never see the light of day, or wonderful movies or writers or whatever. There's just some things that happen to, it's like lightning in a bottle. It just happens to be right time, right place, and takes off. And, thankfully this is a good example of something that was a good game.
Yeah.
But it happens to a lot of crap too.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
One thing that really helped them take off, I'll just say, is they handed out their demo to YouTubers back then.
Oh, okay.
And like 2013, 2014, that was when the Let's Play was huge.
Yeah.
So they knew exactly where to take that to get it advertised and get it out there. Now, looking away from the success that can come from Kickstarter, it is a double-edged sword to say the least. Have either of you heard of the infamous game Mighty Number 9?
I'm gonna be
No,
honest.
but-
I haven't.
Nothing.
No.
Nope, I bet you're
neither
going
of
to
you
tell
heard
us,
of it.
Ace.
Oh, you are going to hear it. This was a Kickstarter started by father of modern Mega Man, Keiji Inafune, of all people, which I know that name means nothing except for father of modern Mega Man, because that's all I've told you. But it raised $4 million in its Kickstarter.
Whoa,
Yes.
that's a lot of money.
That is a ton of money.
And what year was this? I guess.
This was 2013 as well.
Okay, so it's even more money then. As like,
Mhm.
I was just looking up because I was talking with somebody about, Josh recently just played Last of Us. Their whole budget for Last of Us Part 1 was 10 million. So for this game, this game to come up with 4.
Yeah. And I think like over 40% of that budget went to this one promise I'm going to give you right now.
Okay.
They promised this game on 10 different systems.
What?
10.
So are we talking about like the major consoles, PC, Mac, and like mobile or something, or what?
Including, no, we're talking major consoles, PC, and then the handhelds. But also generations before. So not only like PlayStation 4, PS3, not only Xbox One, Xbox 360.
You still got
not
your
only
Atari,
Wii, but
busted
Wii U.
out. Yeah.
It's like
Oh my gosh.
the issue with doing it like that is you really need to develop the game first before you decide you're going to port it to 10 different things.
Oh my gosh. This was doomed from the start, I say.
This was a nightmare. Like, this game is infamously what people look at when they want to say, oh, don't do Kickstarter. Kickstarter's terrible. You'll end up with, promising to a buggy game that never launches. It looks like crap, plays like crap. And you know what? If they were talking about this game, they're right, because this game launched and it was buggy as all get out.
So with something like this, obviously people have to somewhat know what they're putting their money towards. How were they able to develop, whatever they did after getting 4 million? How were people still funding this? And like, did they just kind of take the short route for the rest of it and made a good demo, or like, how did that work? Do you think
They never made a demo.
They never even made a demo? So,
They never
okay,
made
so
a
that's what I was
playable
going to
demo.
ask. Was this like mainly based on, name recognition and
It's
like
100% people had trust in Keiji Inafune because he had such a big hand in bringing Mega Man over to the Western world.
Uh-huh.
And he and he will 100% own this. I am not spitting on his name right now. He will 100% take the blame for this game.
Uh-huh.
Every fault of this game, he says, is his fault.
Yeah.
They had terrible communication with their backers. They did not give them updates often enough. And they promised physical rewards that they thought they would be able to ship out based on the sales of the game when the game launched.
Oh.
So those physical rewards didn't show up till a year later. So I told you, this Kickstarter came out in September 2013. When do you think the game launched?
2017.
You're close.
18.
16.
16.
I win.
Yeah. you went over. Price is Right rules.
Price is Right.
This game so harshly eroded trust in indie devs and backers on Kickstarter. You could just see like the plummet in people who are willing to support games like this. And you know what the crazy thing is? They had the audacity to ask for more money for DLC and voice acting.
Ooh, that's
after gathering $4 million from people.
That's just crazy to me. That's a heck of a lot of money, and to not have had a playable demo or anything like that, to get that much just off name recognition alone is pretty wild. And then to put out what they put out, jeez. Yeah. And so did they come back like with updates and finally fix that for people, or is it still no? Oh,
the PS Vita and 3DS versions never came out.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Why would you promise to put them on everything? That seems wild.
You're over, I guess, over promising, and then that breeds great failure.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point somebody thought, wow, this is a really good idea. This shouldn't take a lot of effort. We're going to make this the most accessible game ever made. I think there's a lot of like good, like had too many beers on a Friday night ideas that don't actually work in reality. Like like claymating your whole video game and then digitizing.
Oh, no. They didn't kickstart for $4 million.
Keep stabbing it. No. But I mean, it's the same sort of general thing. Is that somebody had an idea and it just didn't pan out. You know, I think Mega Man's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Mega Man is awesome, and nobody can ever take that away from him. But not every idea works out, man. One of my favorite horror movies of all time is this movie called Hereditary. Love it. Great. Just excellently crafted horror movie. And then he made this movie, Beau is Afraid. And it is the biggest piece of trash I've ever seen. People goof up, man. There's a reason that there's erasers on pencils. Everybody goofs up. And some goof ups are more expensive than others.
Yeah.
You know, I can at least say I'm glad he owned it. That you know, this was his fault. That he is the reason people promised money to this. That people lost money. That he lost money.
What would you say would have saved it? Like, do you think if it was just more development, or do you think the whole idea, the premise of it wasn't very good? Or
I think it needed more time in the oven for sure, because they were promising on stretch goals they never hit. Like they promised an online mode for Mega Man, online multiplayer for a Mega Man game.
I could see it.
I could see it, but not from first timers who'd never done it before.
Yeah.
Who had no experience with programming that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they were also trying to program a game for 10 consoles.
Oh gosh.
So they weren't just making one version and porting it to each console. They were making 10 different versions.
Yeah. Why?
That's why 40% of that $4 million was just gone.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just a money siphon.
It was a money pit, just gone. So now if you hear the words Mighty Number 9, run for your life if someone says that's their favorite game.
Terrible title anyway.
Yeah.
He thought that was going to be, you know, like the next big thing over here, though. All right.
Sure he
Dreams.
So I've given you examples of incredibly successful Kickstarters.
Yep.
And massive failures. We're going to go over some of the campaigns I've backed this year alone, even.
I'm excited to hear this, actually.
All right, that's good. I'm
professional.
sad you weren't excited before. But
well, when you mentioned Mina the Hollow, I just, you know.
Your brain turns off for a little bit.
You run. It's self-preservation, man.
I will say, does anyone want to take a lucky guess at what genre all of these games are?
Metroidvania.
There you go. Yes, they are all Metroidvania.
John, let's make a game and get Ace to back us.
Dude.
And then say,
The first one is a game called Crowsworn. It has a very beautiful 2D art style, very akin to Hollow Knight, but a little darker. But it follows this more Bloodborne aesthetic with its gothic vibes and the creepy plague doctor masks. And you have a gun instead of a sword, so you know.
Oh, there you go. That's all you need.
And has this been released already?
That was what I was getting to.
Okay.
This game was supposed to have come out like 2 years ago.
Oh no!
I backed Crowsworn, not at the highest tier, mind you. Crowsworn was a game that was it was Canadian, so it was already more expensive, I think, for us to back it. Period, just because of conversion. I backed it to the point where I could just get a physical copy of the game. I think I did $70 or $80 into this game. This game ended up raising about $126 million.
Wow.
Wait,
wow. What? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crowsworn? I've never even heard of this. How did they
Crowsworn.
What?
Yeah, everybody's Googling.
Everyone
Googling right
Googling
now.
They unlocked 10 of their stretch goals.
$126 million, dude. That is like, that's like
cool.
big budget movie money.
It's all hand-drawn. It's all beautiful and stunning. And I've actually played some of it because I'm a backer.
Oh, okay.
I get access to a exclusive demo, and I get to check out the dev logs and the stream logs. It's a very strong engagement, which is what you're looking for when you're doing these backings, is that you're going to get feedback. That they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you know, we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Not that they're going to be like, Yeah. If you're going
Don't-
to take the money over here.
Yeah, get it. Go put it in the bank. No, this looks. I mean, I really see the Hollow Knight look, but
You could see the Hollow Knight
For sure.
inspiration for certain.
especially with the light bugs and stuff. But no, man, I'm still blown away by that number. That is. I mean,
Yeah, man.
is that like super rare for these Kickstarter games to develop that
Kickstarters
much?
do not hit goals like that these days.
Okay.
No, that is a rare.
I don't know how I've never heard of this game. This is wild for it to have that big of a backing. You think there would be more kind of, I guess I'm not in the indie sphere as much, as you or anything like that, but dang. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's really interesting to me. Because it looks like this looks like a game that I would be jazzed to play, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
Aesthetically,
dude, yeah.
this like tickles my fancy.
Does it get your goth kid happy again?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is the sad little emo John all over. But it doesn't look like a $126 million game. I'll tell you that. Like when I think of, there's no. It was released by a private company. It's a non-publicly traded company. But Expedition 33, there's like estimates that it was made in the $20 to $30 million range, and we're talking like
Wow. I didn't
Charlie
know that.
Cox was in it. Like so. What could they possibly have done with that $126 million? And what
I believe they got a legendary composer from Mega Man for one of them.
Okay,
There you
but a video game composer ain't making.
No.
So
They've
what
promised
that looks
DLC?
okay, but DLC should be cheap, more economical than the core game. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's
I can
wild.
I can only say so much based off what I get from the devlogs because I'm not. There's certain things I'm under NDA. I can't say. But I will
I was
say
gonna ask if
the
you had an
scope
NDA.
of the game. It started here. It is over here now.
Okay.
The
What
entire
is-
scope of the game has been raised and changed.
What is the most expansive Metroidvania game you could possibly think of?
Most expansive?
Yes, the highest production value
I
Metroidvania.
mean, it's got to be Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is massive.
Yeah, I would say either Hollow Knight or maybe the new Prince of Persia or something.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at Prince of Persia, I couldn't imagine, and that's an Ubisoft game too, buddy. I couldn't imagine $120 million going into that game. That feels like a max $20 million game. And so I don't know how this works in Kickstarter. Like if somebody way overshoots their goal, like is that profit at that point? Or like, like what do they do with that money?
That'd be weird.
Because
now
now,
$1,026. That's a lot.
wait, 1 million,
That's what I said. $1,026,000.
$126 million or
No.
1 million?
No.
Oh,
1,260,000.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. And I thought you were saying $126 million.
Did I say that? I
Yes.
really hope
I don't
didn't.
know. Yeah, all I know is that's
Man,
what I
what would
thought.
a $126 million game even look like?
That's why we
Star
were like
Citizen?
Call of
Star
Duty.
Citizen?
Call of Duty would be $126
Yeah, Call of-
million dollar game. But yeah, okay, 1.26 million. We're back on board, baby. I'm all about it.
That makes sense? Okay.
That makes a lot more sense.
Bro,
It-
I can't read numbers. I'm number dyslexic, whatever that's called. I know it has a name.
did
It's
also
okay.
cost-
Ryan can't work a mute button, so
I learned. Yeah, I know, right?
Dang it.
I did look up too. Hollow Knight was 57,000. Around 40. That's
Really?
from their currency. Around 42,000 USD.
Yeah, so I'm trying to convert
For
one
the
of the currencies
development.
now, and it's being a real pain in the butt.
But that, I mean, that's okay. That's much more reasonable. I was like 120. I was like, what? No. Yeah, no, that's
no.
okay. But it does. I mean, the game looks. It does look good. It's a good looking game. Then that's much more feasible now for $1 million. Even Dr. Evil would do it.
Even Dr. Evil.
1
Whoops,
million.
my bad.
No. That's
I
fine.
can't read, apparently. The other game we're looking at, we've actually talked about this game, is Mariachi Legends. The one where you are it has the very Spanish, Mexican-inspired visuals where you play as the detective during the day, solving crimes and murders and things like that. And then you play as the vigilante La Sombra during the night, where you're hunting down these gang members and these evil organizations as the right-hand man to Lady Death.
Mhm.
It is a beautifully animated pixel art game.
It looks dope, dude.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
really, really cool.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It is beautiful. And I get very frequent updates from this one. This one gives me updates like every month. Every month I get an update and they're like, hey, we're working on it. We lost our publisher. We're looking for a new publisher. It's like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, we're working on it. We're going to have a playable demo by this day. I was like, September? Oh my gosh.
Now, do you find with Kickstarters and any games like you're backing that when you get a lot of communication, does that give you more of a comfort on the progress of
Yes.
the game? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever commissioned artwork, but when you're getting constant reaffirmations from the artist that they are, in stages of
to
what
it.
they're
Yep.
doing, you feel a lot more confident that they're not taking the bag and running away.
Exactly. No, that's in with everything. Communication is huge.
Yeah.
If things are gonna go wrong, you're gonna be late or whatever. Just talking to somebody makes it 10 times better than otherwise. And
Yep.
so,
Even if communication cannot solve every problem, it can at least solve every problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. Yep.
But this one made 11.7 million in Mexican
Oh, okay.
dollars. I don't know what that is in ours, but it was a
Like $7,
1,200.
I think.
it was about 1,230% over its goal.
Oh wow.
So they made quite a bit.
I wanted to back it, but like I thought it was gonna be like Mariachi Legends, like you were just a legendary mariachi member. And
Bro,
I could just like play the
begged y'all
guitar.
to back this game for like months. I kept posting the link and be like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And you're
Yeah,
like,
but you're
nah.
not a mariachi member. It lied to me.
what did you say? 11 million pesos?
Yeah.
What was
Okay,
that, like
so
100?
half a million. It's about half a million.
Half a mil?
Yeah.
All right. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Finally, we're going to look at another one called Layers Deep. This is a game that has a very, very over the garden wall, if you've ever seen that show/movies, aesthetic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know
It
what
is
you're talking
very fungal. It is very sepia toned, and it is very onion based. And I wanted to talk
Literally.
about this one because it's my most recent one. This is the dev that you would be the most cautious with when looking at Kickstarter because he's never done anything.
about. Okay.
So you are 100% putting your faith in the fact that you believe in this person, that they're going to carry out what they said they're going to do. But yeah, I got the stuff for this one today. So
Oh, look at that.
so it's proof that they do, in fact,
Have stuff.
fulfill their goals.
It's real.
Well,
It's real. I'm wearing it. I'm holding it. It's real. Look at him.
that's pretty cool.
He looks
Yeah.
like it looks like my guy on Peak.
Yeah, a little bit.
A lemon grab look.
I got to
It's
say
clearly going to be.
to you, Ace, that I love that you are so enthusiastic about these projects that you put your money where your mouth is, man. I mean, you're very clearly a genuine fan, genuine gamer,
I
man.
mean, what I've got,
so much
I want to put
respect for
into
you.
it, man. I wish I had more I could give him, but like every time I get a little bit extra, if I could put it aside and give it to him,
Soon,
I will.
Soon, someday.
It has a clear direction. It has a very enthusiastic dev. Like, Devin, he's very, into his game. He's very in tune with his game. He loves his game, even if he's not going to say that to us.
Yeah.
This guy, his name is Josh. I'm in his Discord. He is super into this game. This game is his life. And getting to be like part of that is something really special because now you are, as my shirt says, I am a developer.
There you go.
I am part of the game. I'm part of the process. The cons with things like this is, he has a very small team. You don't know the timelines, the deadlines, things like that. And the scope of the game was very small. So, it's hard to get attention in a world like this with so many games.
Yeah, definitely. Do you find that it does offer you that sense of belonging when you're backing these games, and then you all the backers all feel the same as you, like everybody's excited about it.
Yeah,
So
you
is
feel
that
like you've joined a community of people
type
who are
environment?
just like
That's
you.
cool.
You just people who wanted to contribute to a game, and
Yeah.
it feels good. It feels great.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's neat.
They did manage to raise just under $50,000 for their game. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for a
Yeah.
first-time dev, it's high risk with your money.
that met
because-
goal. The goal was like only 35K. So
Exactly.
that was all that mattered.
It's a high risk sort of gamble, but also low barrier of entry.
Yeah, I mean, at all these, we were talking about when we went to the Game Expo, John, me, you, and Josh, and then also even at Fan Fusion, like, you see these developers there with their own little game that they've poured their heart and soul into, you know, and so it's just cool that people can help be a part of that and help, you know, there's a ton, there's so many that aren't going to be recognized, and I'm sure, you know, this helps give them every chance they can.
Well, we're running out of time, fellas, so we're going to have to close it out. But long story short, Kickstarter is a bit volatile, but if you find the right devs that you, in your heart, you know, you feel like you can trust them, go for it. Throw them some money. Even if you don't throw enough to get the product, throw like a few bucks at them, something, just to encourage them to keep going. And maybe they'll hit their goal. And that'd be great, just because maybe you threw that $5 in there and that passed over the line.
Ace,
Ryan?
one question before we go. What is the most recent giant Kickstarter success that you can think of?
Most recent giant success? And honestly, in recent years, the big gamers or the big games that have been successful haven't used Kickstarter. They just independently fund themselves.
Oh.
They independently fund, or they go find, you know, external funding. Like, I will say, you know, Divinity Original Sin 2. It was a Kickstarter game.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So Larian
Okay.
did Kickstarters.
That's
a
big.
big game. That's
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah, that is a
Hollow
big
Knight was a Kickstarter game. Hollow Knight, big. I mean, it's been a while, but still big.
one. Yeah, it's been a very long
I'll
time.
take it.
But yeah, Ryan, you want to tell people how they can support the show and help us out?
Absolutely. Well, you know, we love what we do, and more importantly, we love all of you listening and watching. If you want to join us and hang out with us, please come on over to our Discord. Our link is in our episode descriptions, in our bios, all those things. If you see that when you're looking and you see that little plus button, please hit that. All the follows and all that goes a long way to help us out as well. And then there's also some links in there. If you want to join our Patreon and be part of that, we have a lot of awesome new perks we started offering. We kind of revamped the system, so there's more value for you. Please do that as well. It really does help us out. It's basically our Kickstarter to keep us going. So anything you can do, we love it and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan. I think that was perfect. It is
Thank
our
you.
Kickstarter to keep us going.
It is.
But until next time, happy gaming.
See ya.
Toodaloo.